Hi, you guys. It's Auntie Nisi and Nick, the aunt and the cousin you actually like.
Hey guys, welcome to our podcast. We're so glad to have you, Auntie Nisi. We're so glad to see you back. How was Florida?
Florida was amazing. It
You
was
enjoyed your
awesome.
holidays?
I enjoyed every bit of it. I was gone for 10 days and we really had a great time together, just as family,
Yeah. It's always good to have those memories and share the holidays. You looking forward to the new year?
Absolutely. New year, new beginnings.
That's right.
New movement, new friends,
new opportunities. Yes.
And new everything.
Oh,
so I'm excited.
Definitely.
Yes.
Welcome to our podcast today, you guys. We will be discussing the polyamorous relationship, the good, bad, and in between. No pun intended. So let's get straight off into it. So, Aunt Nisi, have you ever met or known a polyamorous relationship before?
I have never met anyone in a polyamorous relationship. I have heard of it through conversations about it. And it's only in part, but I know this. I know that it is not for everyone. And it is very important as to how this is constructed, this relationship, and what part people plays.
Yeah.
And being truthful and honest in completion and the whole thing in order for it to even appear.
It's a team effort.
To even look like it may work.
So what are you thinking are some good things that could come out of being in a polyamorous relationship?
Me personally?
Like, do you think it's healthy?
Not for me. No. No, but like I say, to each his own. Whoever, decides to go that way, they have their reasons and they have their reasons and they have their objective, as to what they're looking for and what they're doing and what they want to accomplish and moving in that way. Me personally, no. But
so you're not sharing that?
Absolutely not. And I don't understand anybody who would, but if that's what you do, then that's what you do. But I don't understand anybody who would see some positive in that.
I think with some people, they just enjoy multiple partners, and if that's your thing,
don't be married.
Yeah.
Then just stay single, and you don't have to be poly nothing. Just be a slut.
Just go out there. Just go out there and wing it. From what I have observed, I did observe a few people in a relationship with multiple partners, and from what I saw, it does have its ups and its downs. Now, like you said, it's not for everybody, but I observed several couples, and just to see what their thoughts were, and from a supportive standpoint, like as far as financially and having, if there are kids involved, you have somebody there to watch the kids. Everyone contributes to the household, so everybody has a role to play, and it works. It actually works for some people. As far as the children goes, you kind of know how I feel about that. It's kind of like you got to kind of watch it because kids are very impressionable, and a man loves his children.
Yes.
And when you have, especially when a man has daughters, if your daughter sees her dad in a relationship with multiple women, and then she goes out and she meets a guy who feels the same way, the dad will have some kind of resentment, and I've heard a couple of them say that,
They shouldn't open their mouth.
They wouldn't be okay with their daughter being in a polyamorous relationship. And I thought to myself, well, if this is what you're exposing your kids to, that's where you have to be careful, because that's where it falls along the guidelines of, you're exposing your kids to something that could just be possibly detrimental down the line, because kids do observe more than what we think.
Absolutely.
So, in an aspect, I think health wise now.
For real, girl, we on a whole different.
Everybody
open a whole nother can of worms.
I'm like, you're really gonna open a gateway there, because me personally, it's not for me either. I can understand it, and I can respect another person's opinion if that's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. But I usually see polyamorous relationships where it's the guy. I've observed one that I came across. It was a young lady. She's on Instagram, and she had her husband and her boyfriend, and she's very unapologetic about it. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, this is us. This is how we live. It works for us, blah, 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 blah.
Kudos.
Yeah, but it's like more from a sexual standpoint when you hear them talking. Like, mm-hmm. yes, everyone contributes, but when it gets right down to the freedom of just variety.
Uh-huh. It's called greedy.
And I'm like, what are you gonna do if you want to see more people, or furthermore, what if one of the partners wants to bring in, somebody else? Like, okay, let's say a guy has two women, and one of the women she just gets tired of, and she wants to bring in a man. There's gonna be a problem there.
It's no more poly.
It's gonna be like, get the f out.
For real.
Yeah.
That man is gonna have a problem, because his ego is like on 1,000.
Yeah.
When it's just him and two women. He think he is the top dog in the kennel, but
yeah,
when you bring another dog in, that knocks him right off the pedestal.
Right.
And that's not gonna work. So.
Yeah, because you're always gonna have that dominant figure in the in the relationship, and
that's crazy.
From my personal standpoint, I just feel like, if you really want to be with multiple people, then you don't need to be engaging in anything serious, because I don't care how they say, oh, we're this, we're that, teamwork make the dream work. You know what they say.
All the most stupid cliches.
At the end of the day,
all they are.
Yeah,
cliche.
Because at the end of the day, these people have their own mindsets, even if they don't, express it in the beginning. They all have their own particular mindset, and one day somebody's going to get tired of sharing everything, and they're going to want to go off and do their own thing. Mm-hmm. Because I've never seen a polyamorous relationship last for like 20 plus years. I haven't seen it.
I haven't heard of it either.
I'm
sure it might exist somewhere, but not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why anybody want to be there. I mean, as far as you saying earlier that they work together and they can be more beneficial as togetherness. Mm-hmm. But you can do that without being in a polyamorous relationship.
Yes.
Because, when we are single parents and we're raising our children, we're not, like they say, take the village. It's the same thing. You don't have to be
You're right.
in that type of relationship to get that type of support.
Yeah.
And grow. And you can just be a normal person. But but like I say, it's to each his own.
Yeah.
I just think people make up stuff
to justify what they want to do.
Right, to accommodate what they want to do and give it a name, because that is ridiculous.
Yeah. I just think, I think that when people first get into it, they're not thinking about the after effects.
Yes, and the long-term effects. and the long term as to where this is going. Because I'm gonna tell you, somebody's gonna get shorted.
Yeah.
I don't know where the short gonna come from and who it's gonna reflect, but it's gonna come.
Yeah.
Because that man cannot do. Child, it's hard enough pleasing one woman. You trying to please two? Come on. Now,
and what happens when that energy goes down and you can't perform like you used to?
And you know, it ain't even about that part, but I'm just saying the emotional attachment, trying to be all that emotionally for each woman.
Yes.
Spiritual. Because men you have to bring it all.
Yeah, you do.
And I don't see how you bringing all of that and you pleasing two women.
You get exhausted with one person.
Exactly.
Imagine having multiple people that you constantly have to feed into. It can be a lot.
That is overwhelming to that man. My hat goes off to you, baby, if you can do it. If you can do it, you keep on doing it. But I see you falling short.
So the women, from your personal standpoint, when you look at the women who decide to partake in a relationship with multiple partners, do you think that's really truly how they feel inside, or you think that they're just trying to appease their man?
When I look at it, a lot of women might think that that's something that they can do.
Yeah.
But not really giving it all thought until you're into it. You don't really see the whole story until you're in the book.
Right.
And I think if they're entertaining anything like that, they just haven't read the whole book yet.
Yeah. And I agree. I agree.
If they stay in it, kudos and good to you. But
because I'm going to tell you, Aunt Niecy, like when I was watching a couple of videos about people in multiple partner relationships, and I came across a couple where it was two young ladies, it was one guy, and they were like, oh yeah, we love each other, this and that, we're all a family, we do this, we do that. But when you really sat there and listened to them talk, you could kind of see the division. Like the two females, you could tell
that they are in competition.
Yeah, they were just tolerating each other because of the man, but you didn't really see them interacting. Now if y'all saying we're all in a relationship and we all love each other, everything, whatever, but you're sitting on one side of the man, you're clinging to his arm, and then the other one's sitting there, she's clinging to the other arm, and you're not really interacting with each other. And even in the household, you're not even really reacting, with one another the way you should. If you're happy to be in this relationship, I felt like the impression that I got was these are two women that wanted the same man and they didn't want to lose him. And so they tolerate each other.
Share.
Yeah.
And they were willing to share. And that's where the sick start.
Yeah. Yeah, the sick.
Because why would you tolerate something that you don't really want to do, but just to be with this person, you willing to sacrifice that. I think that's very sick on whoever is giving up that, because you are worthy to have your own man.
Yeah.
You are worthy. When God made you, he made your soulmate. He made that man that's supposed to be just for you.
Yes, I agree.
And it's just that sad that you're going to be with somebody else just for the sake of being with a man. I'm sorry, but I'm old-fashioned. I'm crazy. I want my own man, and I'm not
sharing. I don't think that's crazy, though.
If you have to share, that ain't your man.
Right.
That ain't your man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the community man. Like you polyamorous. Sound like community people to me.
Okay, well, and we don't want to offend anyone in that community. But, again, these are just our personal opinions.
And you can like them or you don't.
But I think,
but it's just my life.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody. And I think people just have to take a real good look at that, because I feel like a lot of those types of relationships start out due to one's selfish wants and needs.
Mm-hmm.
The first guy I observed, when I saw the first documentary, and we were looking at this couple, he was like, I'm a king, and I should have multiple partners, and he even tried to make it. Biblical. He was like, kings back in the Bible had multiple wives, and I was like, wait a minute, that's true. They did have multiple wives, but that doesn't mean that God was okay with it. That doesn't mean that God co-signed that. And we have to understand, don't try to use the Bible to justify certain things, because you don't know. Right. That's what you wanted to do. That's what a lot of men, what separated man from God in the first place was man was always feeding into their flesh and feeding their wants and their needs. And that's what separated us from God, which is why he had to send Jesus to redeem us.
Yes. Sin.
Yes.
Sin, because he already established what this is.
Right.
When he made us in the first place.
Right.
And all this other stuff that comes up along with it, that's what separated us. It's not only that, but Sodom and Gomorrah, all of that took place then. So sin, it wasn't just relationships and man and woman and kings and wives and queens and it was sin.
Yeah. Ultimately, it was man just leaning on their own understanding, which is what God does not want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a verse somewhere in Deuteronomy that speaks against polygamy. I'm gonna have to post that. But yes, so I don't. When people say things like that, I'm just kind of like, you know what? Just say you like multiple people and that's your thing, and it is what it is. People can accept it or reject it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do it. I can't do
I'm
it.
jealous hearted, honey.
Me too. What's mine is mine.
Yes.
If it go out from me, I don't want it anymore. So
yes,
I'm greedy.
I'm a hot-blooded Mississippi woman, honey. I will not tolerate it.
Absolutely not. And I am the queen from Florida, baby. And I am a selfish woman. For real, for real. That's why.
I think someone that you are in love with, it's impossible to try to share that person. I mean, some people will make do.
For real, it's not love. If you can take your heart out and divide it amongst two people, it's not a heart anymore. You're dead. So how can you do that? No, I don't see how you. And people say that all the time that they can love two people at one time.
Yeah.
Not effectively and not completely the way God say man's supposed to love woman.
Right. I think
like Christ loved the church.
That's true.
You can't do that
because people
with more than one person.
Right. Well, and something that I've seen all these couples say, they all said the same thing. The biggest misconception people have about them is, especially like men with two women, they think it's pimps. They think the man's a pimp and the females are their, workers. And I'm just like, wow. I said, well, that's a lot to have. That's a lot to have to try to explain to people, because that's what they'll think. And everyone is not going to really try to take a second look at it to be open-minded. I mean, you have people out there that genuinely think, hey, we have multiple partners. It works for us. It's okay. But that doesn't mean it's going to be, generally accepted.
Or even if it's okay, it's just okay for you. It's not okay. It's ridiculous, and it's unheard of. I mean, it's been heard of, but it's ill.
I think it's not healthy in terms of what you'll expose your children. If you have children in the household, and if they see this, if they see their dad sleeping in the bed with two women or their mom sleeping in the bed with two men, I just, my personal standpoint, I just don't think that's healthy for a child to be exposed to.
No, it's not.
I think it's doing too much. I think personally, it can personally affect the child to the point where when they get grown, they'll be thinking that, I gotta go be with multiple people.
That's acceptable behavior.
Yeah.
Because I see my parents do it. That's why we have to govern our children better.
You have to be careful.
When you think about stuff like that, when you want to have that kind of relationship, let's keep the kids out of it.
Yeah, because so much about it can be misconstrued, and they don't want to be misunderstood, but people are going to make judgment on what they see. That's just the world that we live in today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I believe that that we adults, we can pick and choose how we are to live, how we want to live, and what we want to involve ourselves in, and what we want to play part of. But when you decide to have children, you have to think about them too.
That's true.
So let's keep in mind, when we grown people, we can do what we want. But when you involve other people,
like your children,
your children, you have to think about what you're exposing them to, what you're teaching them. A lot goes along with it. It's no longer about you.
Right. And you really got to consider the fact that people, again, you're dealing with individual minds. Even though these are people in the same relationship together, they still have their own mindset, their own wants, their own needs, their own desires. And people get tired. People get tired of sharing, and they don't want to continue, down the same path if this is something that they want to get away from. All I'm saying is, don't be surprised when a person wants out one day.
Exactly.
Because people do get tired. Yeah.
They no longer want this. This is not, and that's okay. And they should be able to walk away.
Right. Because I feel like if it starts off as consenting adults, it should end the same way. And they should be okay with however it pans out. Because if they decide that one day this lifestyle is not for them anymore and they don't want to do it. Because see, walking in, especially if you're younger, you can think it's the right thing to do. You can think,
you see all the fun about it.
You see the benefits. Yeah.
But when it goes to when the going gets tough and the tough gets going,
right?
Then what? Then what you do?
Right.
What you do then?
Because all people get older. Yeah.
People that got older,
they get sick, they go through life changes.
Exactly. And now you're a nursemaid.
Yeah. And sometimes
and a caregiver.
Yeah. And sometimes people get fired, they lose their income. And God forbid you're in a relationship with multiple people and two people lose their job, and then all of that falls back on you financially. Yeah. And it's just not a good position to be in, especially if children are in the picture. So I think that people need to just take a look at all those things. It can seem glamorous outside looking in, but you really have to be careful, because once you become heavily invested into something like that, it could truly alter the course of your life.
Absolutely.
And not in a good way. So, if you try it, because that's what I feel like people are doing now. If you try it, you feel like it's not for you, if it's something just hinting to you, this may not be for me, get out while it's early, before you decide to have kids or take, just take it, on a serious path, because you never know what life will throw at you. And life is hard enough by yourself.
And you adding two other people with you.
Right.
Chaplain.
And then what if somebody is like, okay, well, I want to bring in somebody else. I mean,
when does it stop?
Yeah.
For real.
That's the thing for me. It's like the boundaries. Like, what are the boundaries? Because it really doesn't seem like
boundaries. See, except the ones, if you decide to do this, then you establish them from the start.
Yeah.
And you be completely honest about it, and that's really dependent on the person, because how much honesty do you think they have?
Yeah.
How honest would they be? And then you're jeopardizing a lot of yourself. You're sacrificing a lot of yourself
so
to be
much
with somebody, and they're with other people. I'm sorry, the mixing and the matching and the bundling and the exchange of this and that,
swapping juices.
I'm done, girl. I'm so done. It's about the most disgusting thing I ever heard of in my life. But to each his own. I'm just saying, this is Auntie Niecy. Don't even look my way, because I'm not doing it.
I'm telling you, I think if you are going to, if you're thinking about it, or your partner comes to you and wants to introduce another person into the relationship, you really got to sit down and think, what are the long-term, what's the long-term effects of all this? Mm-hmm. Is this something that I really want to indulge in? Is this something that is going to be beneficial to me? And then you have to always consider life can switch up at any given point. How are we going to handle this? And then the person coming in, you have to understand this is a completely different mindset. You don't know what their tics or their triggers are. You really don't even know what their intentions are.
You don't know them.
Right, period. So those are all things that you want to consider getting into a polyamorous relationship. Make sure you guys comment down below. Let us know what you think. Do you know anyone, or are you in a polyamorous relationship? If so, what has your experience been like? So we're going to sign out.
What are the pros and the cons of that? I would like to hear it, because going on from my own knowledge, it's not bright at all. But I would love for somebody to shine a positive light on it and let me know. Right. Because
and we always love to hear from you guys.
I like learning. I possibly could learn something from a polyamorous relationship. I have no idea what that would be, but I'm open to it.
We're definitely here, always ready to listen to a different perspective. So that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you for joining our podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.